Stand-Up Comedy, your host and MC, presents Comedy Appetizers, a podcast where you will find short comedy sets, stories, and funny bits from the famous and not so famous. Here is your host and MC, Scott Edwards.
Hi, and welcome back to the podcast. I have something totally different for you today. This is a short live recording of a very talented comic, but you may know him more as an actor. If you get a chance, go to the Googler and look up Robert Wuhl. That's W-U-H-L. Robert Wuhl was a very talented actor, but back in the day, he was also a stand-up comic. This set was recorded live in 1981, where he talks about relationships and stuff. It's pretty interesting. Something special between him and his dad. And then, of course, women are always involved. So in this recording, sit back and enjoy Robert Wuhl live on stage.
I'll talk a bit about relationships and romance and relationships, because they go together. They're a team. Romance, they're like a team, like Tracy and Hepburn, Heckle and Jekyll, S&M, Hoof and Mouth. Well, there are other types of relationships. I want to make that clear. Besides sexual, besides male, female, besides parental, different relationship. Mother to father, different kind of communication. The communication in my house always went, my father would give an opinion, he would agree with his opinion, and the discussion was over. And he was never, ever wrong. That's in the book. You know the book as an oldest trick in the book. Fathers may not always be right, but they're never wrong. Sometimes this gets tough, especially when there is no right and wrong on taste, or you may agree or disagree, you may like or dislike. Nobody's wrong. You never know. I'll tell you a story. 4 years ago, I take my father to the Washington Square Art Show, Greenwich Village, New York City. The idea was, for his birthday, I wanted to buy my father a painting that would hang in my house and would be able to express the emotions and the feelings of my father that I couldn't verbalize. Big mistake. Big mistake. My father sold wholesale fruit. You don't take a man who sells fruit to an art show. I mean, this is like asking Joan Crawford to come over to the house, look after the kids. But I was determined, game plan, I'm going to see it through. We're walking around for about an hour. Finally, one painting grabs me, an abstract work by an artist by the name of Anatole. Weird, sick, I dig it, you know. I go to my father, I go, Dad, look at this, just look at it, just look at it. And he looks at it and he goes, it's a hunk of dung. Interesting critique. Especially coming from a man who thought the world's greatest painter was Earl Scheib. I go to pay $50 for the painting. My father wouldn't hear it. He says, $50? Put that money away. It's not worth 50 cents. I said, Dad, it's a work of art. He says, son, it's a hunk of dung. It's worthless. It's trash. Don't buy it. I'm not wrong. Fathers are never wrong. I didn't buy the painting. 6 months later, my dad passed away. And I miss him a lot. He was a good guy. Never saw me work on stage, which was the one thing I miss. He was always worried, because he sold fruit, But luckily, he left his sense of humor with me. Unluckily, he left the rest of the estate to somebody else. So I was working at the Improv in New York City and started to do some gigs. In fact, my first gig was opening for Joanne and Mark out in Long Island, in Brooklyn. But a year goes by and I get a job. I get my first job offer to come out here. A producer offers me a job in Los Angeles. I try to be cocky. I'm trying to put up a facade, but I'm getting on the edge. You know what I mean? Your first time in front of a camera, you're feeling you know what I mean by on the edge? You still got all your marbles, but they're starting to roll to one side. My friend, however, sees me the night before my show, and he says, Robert, you're too uptight. Take the night off. Let's go to a disco. Takes me to a disco. He takes me to a place called Odyssey, which once I arrive, I learn is predominantly gay, which intimidates the hell out of me. I could never be gay. It's depressing enough being rejected by women. But my friend has hit the jackpot. He has found, bingo, he hit a German girl, the epitome of, German blonde hair, blue eyes, little dueling scar on the cheek, She tells me she's got a friend. I figure, all right. Because beautiful women hang out together, right? Her friend was big boned, full figured. I'm talking huge. I mean, I'm no prince, but the girl's name was Bubba. I gotta be fair, and it was exciting. It was very nice. It was exciting. It was erotic. I saw God. He says hello. But the following morning, I am leaving. I'm leaving. I'm halfway out the door, and for some reason, and I don't know why to this day, I don't ever know why, but something told me to turn back. And as I turn back, I look, and I notice that hanging on her wall is the exact same painting. And I flipped out. I woke her up and went, Bubba, Bubba. I asked her where she got the painting. She told me it was a gift to her from her father, whose name happened to be Anatole, the artist. The same person that created that created her. Art moves in mysterious ways. I told her I almost bought the painting for $50. She tells me that a copy of it recently sold for $1,500. I was real happy to hear that. And then we talked a bit, and we made a deal, and I bought the painting. I wrote a check for the painting. I had to borrow money to cover the check. I'm still borrowing money to cover this check. But I had to have it. A couple of reasons. One is I dig it. I mean, it's weird. You'd like it, trust me. Just trust me. But more importantly, my father had been wrong. It wasn't garbage, it wasn't trash, it wasn't worthless, it was good. But occasionally it's just great to be able to trust yourself and go with your gut instincts and, and say, hey, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself because you can be right. And we're fathers, are human beings. And they may always be right. Human beings are sometimes wrong. Take the painting home, I hang it up on the wall, I'm looking at it, and thinking, well, maybe my confidence is up, maybe I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it. All of a sudden, out of the back of it falls to the floor a little 3x5 file card. And I pick it up, and it's the file card from the Washington Square Art Show. And I looked at it, and I started crying as I read it, and it said, Artist Anatole, title, Hunk of Dung.
That was Robert Wuhl, the actor and stand-up comedian. Very, very talented guy. He worked my club several times back in the early 80s. He had done movies before and after working for me. And it was just an honor to have him in the club. And you could tell he has a different style, kind of a story style of doing a stand-up comedy. I know you enjoyed that as much as I did. Tell you what, we'll be back next week with some more great comedy. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Comedy Appetizers. Be sure to share with family and friends, and we will see you this Sunday for our regular podcast, your host and MC, and again next Friday for another episode of Comedy Appetizers. Bye!